感谢大家参加今天的业绩会。二季度我们增加了超过 5.7 万名有资产客户，有资产客户的总数在季末接近160万。各市场录得了强劲的来自自然流量的客户增长，使得竞争有资产客户数较上季度环比提升了 41%。二季度香港市场为我们贡献了约1/3的竞争有资产客户。香港的线下渠道帮助我们吸引了不少年龄较长的客户群体，他们在我们工作人员的指导下了解开户流程，探索产品功能。二季度美国股市表现强劲，货币基金收益率也极具吸引力，这样的行情带动我们新加坡的有资产客户实现了不错的增长。在美国，随着我们不断优化营销渠道，迭代客户奖励措施，我们吸引了更多优质的客户。尽管股市整体表现疲软，但集团的季度有资产客户留存率仍然维持在 98% 以上。
Thank you all for joining today. I'm pleased to announce that we acquired over 57,000 paying clients in the second quarter, bringing the total number of our paying clients to nearly 1.6 million. Robust organic growth across all overseas markets drove a 41% sequential acceleration in client acquisition. In the second quarter, Hong Kong market contributed approximately 1/3 of new paying clients, as effective offline marketing campaigns attracted older clients who prefer in-person instructions on how to open trading accounts and navigate our user interface. In Singapore market, we also witnessed strong paying client growth on the back of US equity market outperformance and the enticing yield of money market funds. In the US, we brought in more clients of higher quality as we iterated on marketing channels and client incentives. Despite fragile market sentiments, our group's quarterly paying client retention rate remained above 98%.
二季度，我们在各个市场扩充了交易产品品类，并升级了产品功能。为了帮助客户更好地执行交易策略，我们开始提供针对港美股期权和期货的括号订单，并向香港和新加坡的客户全量开放算法订单功能。在新加坡和澳大利亚，我们开始为客户提供全天候交易特定美股和 ETF 的服务，让美股交易变得更灵活、更便利。
In the second quarter, we continue to roll out new products and features across markets. To help clients better execute their trading strategy, we launched bracket orders for US and Hong Kong stock options and futures, an algorithmic order for all clients in Hong Kong and Singapore. In Singapore and Australia, we now give clients access to certain US stocks and ETFs 24 hours a day, 5 days a week, thereby enhancing the accessibility of US stock trading.
总客户资产达到4660亿港币，同比增长 8%， 环比基本持平。客户港股持仓的市值在二季度有大幅下跌，但境外市场客户强劲的净入金抵消了港股市值下降对客户资产的负面影响。二季度，新加坡市场也实现了稳健的资产增长，总客户资产和户均客户资产分别环比提升 21% 和 12%。新加坡市场的总客户资产连续第4个季度实现2位数环比增长。截至二季度末，融资融券余额环比小幅下降 1.4%， 这主要是由于部分客户对其空头头寸进行了平仓。
Total client assets were 466 billion Hong Kong dollars, up 8% year-over-year and flattish quarter-over-quarter. Negative mark-to-market impact on clients' Hong Kong stock holdings dragged total client assets, but net asset inflow in overseas markets remained robust, which offset the market impact. Singapore market delivered strong asset growth during the second quarter, with a 21% and 12% quarter-over-quarter increase in total and average client assets respectively. This was the 4th consecutive quarter where the Singapore market achieved double-digit sequential growth in total client assets. Margin financing and securities lending balance declined marginally by 1.4% sequentially, as some clients unwound their securities lending positions.
本季度总交易量为1万亿港币，环比下降 22%。二季度港股整体行情较弱，客户对于港股科技股的交易兴趣低迷，导致港股交易量环比下降 31%， 录得2590亿港币。美股交易量为6760亿港币，环比下降 18%， 这主要是由于美股科技股和杠杆 ETF 交易量的下滑。
Total trading volume declined 22% quarter-over-quarter to 1 trillion Hong Kong dollars. Hong Kong stock trading volume was 259 billion Hong Kong dollars, down 31% sequentially due to clients' waning interest in China technology names given disappointing stock price performance. US stock trading volume was down by 18% quarter-over-quarter to 676 billion Hong Kong dollars, as trading turnover of technology stocks and leverage and inverse ETFs contracted.
财富管理总客户资产为430亿港币，同比增长 99%， 环比增长 17%。货币基金的收益率本季度维持在较高水平，推动了客户资产的强劲增长。在香港，我们继续丰富结构化产品种类，上线了基金挂钩票据和价差票据， 以满足高净值客户不同的风险收益目标。截至季度末，超过18%的新加坡客户持有财富管理产品，较去年同期的2%有显著提升。新加坡客户的平均财富管理产品持仓较去年同期翻了一番。除了零售财富管理业务外，我们也在新加坡推出了委托账户，帮助基金经理直接管理客户资产。
Total client assets in wealth management were 43 billion Hong Kong dollars, up 99% year-over-year and 17% quarter-over-quarter. The sustained high yields of money market funds were the key driver behind this robust asset growth. In Hong Kong, we continue to expand structured product offerings by onboarding fund-linked notes and call put spread notes to cater to the diversified risk-return expectations of high-net-worth clients. In Singapore, over 18% of clients held wealth management positions as of quarter end, up significantly from 2% in the year-ago quarter. In Singapore, average client assets in wealth management more than doubled year-over-year. In an effort to expand beyond retail wealth management, we launched entrusted accounts in Singapore that allow fund managers to manage assets on their clients' behalf.
截至二季度末，我们有374家 IPO 分销和投资者关系客户，同比增长36%。2023年上半年，在香港上市的31家公司当中，有20家使用了我们的企业服务。本季度，我们作为联席账簿管理人参与了多宗大型香港 IPO， 其中包括钥匙帮和1.0。
We have 374 IPO distribution and IR clients as of quarter end, up 36% year-over-year. Of all 31 companies listed in Hong Kong in the first half of 2023, 20 of them have used one or more of our enterprise product offerings. In the quarter, we acted as joint book runners of several high-profile Hong Kong IPOs, including those of YSB and EDMB.
最后，我想和大家分享一则好消息：我们在日本的全资子公司母母证券株式会社正式获得日本监管机构的批准，可以通过母母开展在线证券经纪和财富管理业务。日本市场有大量的零售投资者，他们有较多的可投资资产，且近年来零售投资者人数、在线交易渗透率以及美股交易渗透率也在不断攀升。日本市场蕴藏了巨大的发展机遇，我们非常期待为日本投资者带来差异化的产品体验。
Last but not least, I am pleased to announce that our wholly owned Japan subsidiary, Mumu Securities Japan Corporation Limited, is officially approved by the Japanese regulators to conduct its brokerage and wealth management business via our online platform Mumu. The Japan market is characterized by its large and growing number of affluent retail investors, high penetration of online trading, and increasing penchant for U.S. stock trading. And we are excited to tap into this immense market opportunity.
接下来有请我们的首席财务官 Arthur 介绍我们的财务表现。
Next, I'd like to invite our CFO Arthur to discuss our financial performance.
Thanks, Lee and Daniel. Before going through our financial performance, I'd like to give you an update on our latest $500 million share repurchase program announced on March 11, 2022. At the end of the first half, we have repurchased an aggregate of 11 million ADS with approximately $360 million total repurchase amount in open market transactions. This constitutes about 70% of the maximum purchase amount approved under our share repurchase program. Now, back to the financial performance in the second quarter. All the numbers mentioned below are in Hong Kong dollars. Total revenues for the quarter were 2.5 billion, up 42% from 1.7 billion in the second quarter of 2022. Brokerage commission and handling charge income was 953 million, a decrease of 8% year-over-year and 12% Q-over-Q. The Q-over-Q decrease was mainly due to the decline in the total trading volume, partially offset by the increase in the blended commission rate from 8.8 basis points to 9.9 basis points. Interest income was 1.4 billion, an increase of 127% year-over-year and 9% Q-over-Q. The increase was driven by higher interest income from cash deposits and higher security lending income. Other income was 127 million, up 37% year-over-year, and maintained most flat Q-over-Q. The year-over-year increase was driven by higher fund distribution income. Other income maintained largely stable Q-over-Q since higher fund distribution service income and the trust fee were largely offset by lower currency exchange income, underwriting fee income, and the market information and the data income. Total costs was 375 million, an increase of 80% from 208 million in the second quarter of 2022. Brokerage commission and handling charge expenses was 55 million, down 37% year-over-year and 23% Q-over-Q. The decrease was attributable to lower trading volume and the cost saving from our U.S. self-clearing business. Interest expenses were 220 million, up 729% year-over-year and 68% Q-over-Q. The increase was mainly driven by higher expenses associated with our security borrowing and the lending business. Higher funding costs from margin financing business also contribute to Q-over-Q increase. Processing and servicing costs were 99 million, up 5% year-over-year and 13% Q-over-Q. The increase was primarily due to higher system usage fee, market information fee, and the data transformation fee also increased on a sequential basis. As a result, total gross profit was 2.1 billion, an increase of 37% from 1.5 billion in the second quarter of 2022. Gross margin was 85% as compared to 88% in the second quarter of 2022. Operating expenses were 18% year-over-year and 6% Q-over-Q to 852 million. R&D expenses was 363 million, up 25% year-over-year and 2% Q-over-Q. The increase was mainly due to an increase in R&D headcount as we continue to upgrade our infrastructure, support new product offerings, and invest in product localization in international markets. Selling and marketing expenses was 175 million, down 20% year-over-year and up 24% Q-over-Q. The year-over-year decrease was mainly due to lower customer acquisition costs, and the Q-over-Q increase was driven by accelerated client acquisition. G&A expenses was 314 million, up 49% year-over-year and 2% Q-over-Q. The increase was mainly due to increase in headcount for general and administrative personnel to support our international business expansion. As a result, our total net income increased by 74% year-over-year and decreased by 6% Q-over-Q to 1.1 billion. Net income margin expanded to 45% from 37% in the same quarter last year, primarily due to strong top-line growth and the lower selling and marketing expenses. That concludes our prepared remarks. We now like to open the call to questions. Operator, please go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you. To ask a question, please press star 11 on your telephone and wait for your name to be announced. To withdraw your question, please press star 11 again. That's star 11 if you wish to ask a question. Please stand by while we compile the Q&A roster. We will now take the first question. One moment, please. From the line of Chiyao Huang from MS, please go ahead.
感谢管理层。首先恭喜管理层，恭喜公司取得非常强劲的一个利润增长。那我有两个问题是关于这个交易量方面的。一方面就是看到这个二季度的这个客户的交易量环比下滑的这个幅度会比不管是香港还是美国市场的这个交易量下滑的幅度略大。想请教一下这里面的一个原因。那么尤其是考虑到这个二季度美国整体的这个股市表现还不错，但是这个交易量也同环比下滑了这个18%，这里面会有什么样的这些驱动因素？想请教一下管理层。第二个就是关于这个交易佣金，我们看到这个经济佣金环比还是有比较大幅度的这个上升，想请教这里面主要是哪些因素的一些变化？谢谢。Let me briefly translate. So the two questions regarding the trading volume, and we're seeing the trading volume slip further than the overall market in both Hong Kong and the U.S. in the second quarter for Futu. So just wondering what's the implication there, and also we're seeing the brokerage commission bouncing quite sharply in the second quarter, and roughly what's the driving factors behind? Thank you.
Thank you, Chiyao. I will take two of your questions. Number one, regarding the trading volume, it is generally just in line with overall market conditions. Particularly, in the second quarter, we see the market actually is very challenging across the board, regardless in the U.S. or in Hong Kong. What we observe is actually the trading velocity from our clients, both in the U.S. and also in Hong Kong, has decreased. But the situation seems to be temporary as we see the trading velocity rebound for today in the second quarter. Then, in terms of the trading commissions, the major reason, as we elaborated several times before, is more related to the clients' trading behavior in the U.S. stock. As in the second quarter, we see more clients trading these low-value stock in the U.S. markets, which led our implied blended commission rate to become higher versus the second quarter.
Thank you.
Thank you. We will now take the next question from the line of Yu Fan from CICC. Please go ahead.
好的，感谢管理层给我这个提问的机会，我是中金的分析师樊优。那我这边的话有两个问题想请教一下管理层。第一的话，能否请管理层给我们拆解一下目前咱们客户资产的一个结构情况比如说看到像这个港股、美股，还有这个现金，包括像这个大象财富大致的一个分布情况然后包括咱们目前的一个收入结构当中的话，如果按这个港股和美股市场来划分，大致的一个占比情况。那第二个问题的话，能否请公司分享一下咱们这个季度的客户入金的情况？比如说像看到按各个市场，香港、新加坡包括大陆不同地区分布来看的话，分别的一个入金情况如何？ Okay, I will translate. Thanks management for taking my questions. This is Yo-Yo Fan from CICC. I have two questions here. The first one is regarding the AUM and revenue breakdown by assets. How much does Hong Kong and US stocks and wealth management products and also the cash balance account for the total client asset balance? And how much does Hong Kong and US stock market account for the total revenue respectively? The second question is regarding the client net asset inflow. I wonder what's the asset inflow of clients in Hong Kong, Singapore, and also mainland China respectively.
Thank you, Fan Yu. I will answer your second question first, and we'll leave the first question to Li. In terms of the net asset inflows in the second quarter, we see a very healthy rebound in the second quarter versus the first quarter, given that we got some negative headline news in the second quarter, which caused certain clients uncomfortable in terms of their assets parking in our accounts. This impact has been fully removed in the second quarters. And to break down among the different regions, Hong Kong actually contributed most of the asset inflows, which followed by Singapore afterwards. I leave the second question to Li.
我来回答您的第一个问题。那么在过去几个季度的话，公司有资产客户的整体的一个资产结构是保持的相对稳定，其中港股资产的占比是略高于美股资产。那么财富管理资产它的占比是在不断的攀升的。那截止到二季度末的话，占比大概是10%。那么相对去年同期的一个占比是翻了1倍。那么其中现金的占比的话是属于一个低位数的占比。
In the past few quarters, the breakdown of Futu's client assets has remained relatively stable, with more client assets allocated to Hong Kong stocks than US stocks. And the proportion of wealth management assets actually continued to rise in the past couple of quarters, and now accounting for about 10% by the end of 2Q, which more than doubled year over year. And clients' cash balance accounted for low teens of total client asset balance. And to answer your question regarding the revenue breakdown between Hong Kong and US stocks, Hong Kong stocks usually contributed about 30% of the trading volume. So US stocks contributed 70% of the trading volume. And the blended commission rate for US stocks is slightly higher. So about 75% of our trading commission actually came from US stock trading. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. We will now take the next question from the line of Cindy Wang from China Renaissance. Please go ahead.
谢谢管理层给我这个提问的机会，我是华兴资本的 Cindy。那我这边有2个问题想提问，第一个的话是来自于我们看到第2季度的新获客数其实是有一个大幅的环比增长，但是我们看到这个获客成本却是一个有效的一个这个环比的有一个下降的一个趋势。那可不可以请管理层再帮我们拆解一下，就是说如果我们看到今年的下半年来看的话呢，这一个获客成本可不可以维持在第2季的一个水平？那第2个问题的话，想请教一下日本的一个状况，也恭喜就是管理层取得这个日本的一个监管的这个approval。那想请问一下，因为之前我们在日本都是这个 APP 都是使用这个 beta 的 version 嘛，那可不可以大概跟我们说一下这个成效如何？然后从客户这边听到的 feedback 以及这个 MAU 的一个状况是多少？那我们拿到了这个牌照之后，是不是有助于我们这个很快速的可以贡献在我们的新获客数上？他翻译一下我的问题。Thank you, management, for taking my call. This is Cindy from China Renaissance. So I have 2 questions. First question is related to the customer acquisition cost. So we see the second quarter new clients have a good strong sequentially. However, the CAC actually went down. So is that going to sustainable in the second half of 2023? And the second question is related to the Japan market. So congrats to get the license approval from Japan government. So since we have done the beta version for the Momo app in Japan, so can you talk about a little bit more color on what's the effect in the beta version in terms of client feedback and MAU? And is that going to help you to grow your new clients numbers in the second half of this year? Thank you.
Thank you, Cindy. I will take your first question, and I think Li will be very happy to share more colors and his thoughts about the Japan market. In the second quarter, blended client acquisition cost was around 3,000 Hong Kong dollars per client. The CAC in Hong Kong was slightly higher than the average, while that in the US and in Singapore was lower than the average. I think in the second quarter, we continue to optimize different channels particularly some offline channel promotions to get a very good results. So our efforts on the acquisition efficiency of target client groups has been reward. And in the future, we will further dynamically adjust our marketing strategy to improve the efficiency and also the quality of customer acquisitions. Looking into the second half of this year, I personally think uncertainties still remain across the different markets. But having said that, our view on average CAC will be slightly more optimistic than our view before. Therefore, we think the full year CAC cost may have a high single-digit decrease compared with that of last year. Thank you. I hand over to Lee.
我们在日本市场就是作为一个投资资讯行情的平台，已经运营了大半年的时间，积累和收集了很多日本用户的反馈，并且也都根据市场热点和用户兴趣迭代了许多社区运营的玩法，去给日本用户带来了很多独特的价值。那么根据我们看到的数据，某某日本社区的活跃度非常高，在交易日的 DAU 和用户之间的一个比例大概是在 15%， 我们认为未来还会有很大的一个增长潜力。就虽然某某目前还没有去上线交易功能，那我们也能看到就是已经给到日本用户带来了一些独特的价值。从产品能力上来说，就是某某提供了很多当地同业从来没有提供过的这种丰富的功能，包括覆盖美股和日股的资金流向展示、可视化的基本面、技术面分析、图表等等。那么其中大部分客户我们看到的，大部分的券商它是有一个这种15到20分钟的行情的延迟，那么实时行情的话通常都是需要付费的。那某某的话目前是能够提供这种免费的实时行情，而且是不只是不限于日股和美股，还包括全球资本市场的外汇啊、各种指数、期权、期货等等数据。另外，某某也是目前日本唯一一家提供线上投资者社区的在线平台，就是我们引入了大量垂直品类的 KOL， 针对热门的财经事件在社区去开设直播。我们如前面所讲到的，我们看到的社区活跃度是非常高的。那么同时我们还拥有非常强大的这种交易产品能力，就包括产品品类、订单类型、交易时长以及各种各样的分析工具等等。那么我想未来我们都会在日本去得到复用。那么关于具体的一个展业时间，就是我们在拿到许可之后呢，是正在一个紧锣密鼓的筹备当中。我们是希望在今年的4季度是可以去上线交易功能，能够让日本的投资者去享受到完整流畅的投资服务和交易体验。谢谢。
We have been operating as a pure information and market data platform in the Japanese market for less than a year, accumulating a lot of good feedback from Japanese users. We've also iterated many community networking features based on market trends and user interests. And our data shows that Moomoo's user community in Japan is highly active, with the DAU to user ratio averaging around 15% on trading days, indicating very high engagement and certainly significant growth potential. Although trading function is currently not available on Moomoo in Japan, we believe Moomoo has already brought unique value to Japanese users. And in terms of product capabilities, Moomoo now offers various functionalities that were absent among local platforms, such as visual displays of fund flows covering US and Japanese stocks, fundamental and technical analysis. And secondly, most securities brokers in Japan have a 15 to 20-minute delay in market data, and real-time quotes are provided with a cost. However, Moomoo provides free real-time quotes not only for Japanese and US stocks, but also for foreign exchange options and futures data of global capital markets. And furthermore, Moomoo is currently the only online platform in Japan offering an online user community. We've introduced numerous KOLs and conducted live broadcasts for popular financial events in the social community, resulting in very high engagement. And last but not least, we have strong trading capabilities in terms of product categories, order types, trading duration, and various analytical tools, which can also be replicated in Japan in the near future. And regarding our future development plans, after we receive the approval from the Japanese regulators, we are actively preparing and aim to launch the trading functions in the fourth quarter this year to provide Japanese investors with a comprehensive and smooth investment experience. Thank you.
Thank you. One moment, please. We will now take the next question. Coming from the line of Leon Qi from Daiwa, please go ahead.
Hi, thanks for taking my question. 非常感谢给我这个提问的机会，我是大和证券齐小亮。有2个问题想请教一下管理层。首先第一个呢，我还是想跟进一下刚才厉总其实谈到的日本市场这个问题啊。就我不知道从我们现在这个观察到的情况来看啊，我们北上广深潮汕这个情况来看啊， 管理层是不是认为在日本的这个 online broker 的竞争格局啊，是要明显好于我们之前在美国的这个经验的？具体来讲呢，我不知道管理层对于这个 CAC 啊和 payback period 在日本会不会有一些预期？这个是我的第一个问题，还是想跟进一下日本。那第二个呢是关于香港，就是最近我们看到这个富途在香港第一家线下的体验店开幕啊，这个也是人气非常高。那我想请教一下管理层，这个体验店开了之后，我们可能希望达到哪一些具体的这个，不管是从客户数啊，还是财务指标上啊，会有一些什么样的期望？这个第一家店现在开了之后，会不会以后还打算开更多的线下体验店啊？就这样两个问题啊，好，谢谢。Let me return my questions in English. This is Dion Chi from Taiwan. Thanks for taking my questions. My first question is still regarding Japan market. Would management say that our competitive landscape in the online broker space in Japan is better than the US? From the experience that we run our beta version. More specifically, do we have any expectations on CAC and payback period in Japan? And my second question is on Hong Kong. We are very glad to see that recently Futu has opened an offline experience center in Hong Kong. And many people are very excited about the product offerings. Just want to ask management that what kind of user operating matrix or financial matrix are we expecting from the offline experiences shops? And do we plan to open more offline shops? Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Leo. I think the first question can be answered by my colleague Daniel. And regarding our physical store in Hong Kong, I think Lee is very happy to share more colors and about his thoughts.
Right. So regarding the competitive landscape in Japan, we believe it is a lot more benign than what we saw in the U.S. We understand that the online securities brokerage industry in Japan is now dominated by a few players. The top 5 internet brokers, including Rakuten and SBI, now account for the majority of the market share in terms of brokerage trading volume. They have each accumulated over 1 million clients, among which Rakuten and SBI are the top 2 players. But overall, we think that the landscape is a lot more fragmented than what we saw in the U.S., and we believe that our current product offers a competitive advantage, a very significant one, over the existing online brokers. And the Japanese market is huge, and as we mentioned earlier, growing rapidly, and we are very confident to obtain a meaningful market share in Japan. Overall, I think since we haven't really started acquiring clients yet, it's probably too early to talk about customer acquisition costs and payback period. But based on our initial analysis, the Japanese retail investors are generally a lot more affluent than the U.S. investors. And actually, there are a lot more ways to monetize on trading in Japan. Let's take U.S. stock trading, for example. It is now industry standards to charge 0 commissions for U.S. stock trading in the U.S., while everyone still charges, at least all of the major online brokers in Japan still charges pretty high commission for U.S. stock trading. So we think generally the investors are wealthier and there are more monetization opportunities in Japan. Thank you.
好，我来讲一下关于我们线下店的情况。那么从7月31号开业以来，就是目前我们的线下体验店接待的客户是超过了，就是有上千人次。那么其中有非常多是对这种线上开户流程不太熟悉的中年客群。那么这部分客群呢，是我们之前通过线上的营销渠道是非常难以触达的。那么它也符合我们想要进一步渗透的这样的一个人群的画像。那么线下店的开设呢，是能够帮助我们去和这部分客群去建立起连接，是提升富途在香港市场品牌认知的一个重要的窗口。那么根据我们现在看到的数据，那么线下店的获客成本其实是要低于市场的平均获客成本。那么从获客的角度，那么实体店我们认为是有利于去触达以前没有触及到的这种客户群体，也能够帮助我们去提升在香港的渗透率。从运营成本的角度，那么我认为实体店实际上是等同于一个长期的品牌广告，也是有利于增强富途在香港市场的品牌认知度和影响力。那么同时我们也计划把实体店用作举办各种各样的投教活动，包括也会把其中一部分区域作为我们员工的一个办公场所。那么这实际上也会去降低我们的一些这种办公场地成本的支出。那么效果好的话呢，那我相信我们可能会在香港会去进一步开出这种实体店，可能还不会只有什么第二个，也许会有更多。谢谢。
Since its opening on July 31st, over 1,000 people have visited our experience store, and many of whom are middle-aged customers who are not familiar with the online account opening process. And previously, it was difficult for us to reach this client group through our online marketing channels, but these happen to be the target customer group that we want to further tap into. So the experience store has helped us establish connection with these clients and has become an important channel to enhance Futu's brand recognition among this group. In addition, the experience store in Hong Kong allows us to make face-to-face communications with these users and to have a better understanding of Futu's product offerings. And according to the data we have collected so far, the customer acquisition cost of experience stores is actually lower than our average Hong Kong market customer acquisition cost. So from a CAC perspective, experience stores can actually help us reach previously underpenetrated client groups and further enhance brand image in Hong Kong at a lower cost. From the perspective of operating costs, we believe that experience stores really help us with long-term brand building. And we also plan to use these stores as a venue for various offline investor educational activities, events, and corporate offices, which will further help save costs. And if this experience store continues to record very good progress in terms of client acquisition, we expect to have more experience stores in Hong Kong. Thank you.
Thank you. I would now like to turn the conference back over to Daniel Yuan for closing remarks.
That concludes our call today. On behalf of the Futu management team, I would like to thank you for joining us today.